Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for the NES is one of the most iconic and beloved boxing games of all time, with its unique blend of strategy, reflex-based gameplay, and memorable characters. Released in 1987, the game wasn't just a massive success. It also set the standard for sports games on the NES and created a cultural phenomenon that spanned decades. Punch-Out started as an arcade game developed by Nintendo in 1983. It was designed by Genyo Takeda and Makoto Wada, who were keen to bring a unique visual and mechanical style to the game. The original arcade Punch-Out used dual-screen technology, which was innovative at the time, allowing players to view both their character and their opponent on two separate screens. The arcade version's success prompted Nintendo to create a home version for the NES, a decision that would lead to the iconic Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Nintendo's biggest innovation for the NES version was the addition of a new protagonist, Little Mac, who was considerably smaller than his opponents, allowing players to see all the action on one screen without the need for the dual-screen setup of the arcade. This design decision contributed to the underdog narrative, making Little Mac a relatable and memorable character. Since the NES had more technical limitations than the arcade hardware, the development team had to get creative with the gameplay mechanics, opting to focus on precise timing, pattern recognition, and rhythm rather than pure graphical fidelity. The involvement of Mike Tyson came after Nintendo of America's president, Minoru Arakawa, attended a Tyson boxing match. He was so impressed with Tyson's power and rising fame that he negotiated a 3-year licensing deal to feature Tyson in the game. This collaboration was unusual at the time, but gave the game immense appeal. The title was renamed Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for the NES and featured Tyson as the final boss, instantly associating the game with one of boxing's biggest stars. The players take on the role of Little Mac, an ambitious young boxer from the Bronx with dreams of becoming the world champion. Standing at only 4 feet 8 inches and weighing 107 pounds, Little Mac is an underdog compared to his much larger, stronger opponents. But with the guidance of his trainer, Doc Lewis, Little Mac sets out to climb the ranks of the World Video Boxing Association under WVBA and ultimately face off against the unstoppable Mike Tyson. The game doesn't have a complex narrative, but its charm lies in Little Mac's journey, his resilience, and the vibrant personalities of the opponents he faces. As Little Mac progresses through the ranks, he encounters increasingly tough and memorable characters, each with their own quirks and fighting styles. The story may be simple, but the game's humor, unique characters, and Little Mac's determination to overcome insurmountable odds add depth to the experience. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is not your typical button-mashing boxing game. Instead, it's a blend of puzzle solving, rhythm, and timing that requires players to carefully study their opponents and react with precision. Each opponent has specific patterns, tells, and weaknesses, making each fight feel like a unique encounter. Each opponent in Punch-Out has a unique fighting style and attack pattern. The key to victory is recognizing these patterns and anticipating the opponent's next move. Some opponents may give subtle cues before attacking, such as a flick of the eyebrows or a flash of color, allowing players to dodge and counter at the right moment. Instead of just hitting buttons to punch, players must dodge, block, and counter their opponent's moves. Little Mac's movements are responsive and require precise timing. Successfully dodging an attack often opens up a brief window to counter-punch, dealing significant damage. Missing a dodge or failing to recognize an opponent's pattern, however, can quickly lead to Little Mac getting knocked out. Little Mac has a stamina bar that depletes with each hit he takes. If it reaches 0, he becomes dizzy, and any punch from the opponent will knock him down. Players can earn stars by timing their punches perfectly or countering specific moves. With a star, Mac can unleash a powerful star punch, dealing more damage. Managing stamina and building up star punches are crucial strategies for taking down tougher opponents. The game follows a traditional boxing structure with 3 rounds per match. If the match isn't decided by the end of the 3rd round, the referee will declare a winner based on performance. However, most players aim for a knockout or a technical knockout, TKO, which occurs if the opponent is knocked down 3 times in one round. One of Punch-Out's greatest strengths is its colorful cast of opponents. Each fighter Little Mac faces is a memorable character, complete with unique personalities, fighting styles, and humorous animations. Here are a few of the standout opponents. Glass Joe, the first opponent and arguably the weakest in the game, Glass Joe serves as an introduction to the mechanics. He's famously fragile and goes down easily, but his character has become iconic over the years. King Hippo? Known for his enormous size and unique vulnerability, King Hippo can only be defeated by hitting him in the stomach after his mouth opens. His fall to the mat, with his shorts dropping slightly, has become one of the most memorable moments in the game. Bald Bull. With his intimidating bull charge, Bald Bull is one of the game's toughest opponents. Players must time their punches perfectly to counter his charge, which makes him a formidable challenge. Mike Tyson. The final boss, Tyson is as formidable in the game as he was in real life. He has powerful uppercuts that can knock Little Mac down instantly, and players must be exceptionally quick and accurate to defeat him. Tyson's fight is widely considered one of the hardest challenges in gaming. When the licensing deal with Mike Tyson expired in 1990, Nintendo released a new version of the game titled Punch-Out featuring Mr. Dream, where Tyson was replaced with a fictional character named Mr. Dream. This version became the standard for re-releases, though many fans still associate the game with Tyson. Doc Lewis, Little Mac's trainer, became such a popular character that he's featured in later Punch-Out games. He even had his own spin-off game, Doc Lewis's Punch-Out, on the Nintendo Wii, where players could spar against Doc himself. Some of the game's memorable mechanics were actually unintended. For instance, Bald Bull's charge move was initially a glitch that developers ended up embracing, making it part of his signature move. These happy accidents are part of what makes Punch-Out's design so unique and iconic. Mike Tyson never actually played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out until years later, despite his name being on the game. In a humorous anecdote, Tyson once tried playing it on a television interview and lost quickly to Glass Joe. This adds a layer of irony to his legendary status as the game's toughest character. The game became a cultural phenomenon, referenced in everything from TV shows to other games. Little Mac's popularity has endured, with appearances in Nintendo's Super Smash Bros. Series, where he's a playable character with a unique fighting style based on Punch-Out. The game's influence on the sports genre and gaming at large is undeniable. The game's music and sound effects are a huge part of its identity. The soundtrack includes iconic tunes that intensify as the player progresses through matches. The audio cues were essential for player feedback, signaling when an opponent would attack or when Little Mac had successfully earned a star. The character of Little Mac, with his small stature and determination, resonated with players who saw him as the ultimate underdog. Nintendo used his relatable nature to create an aspirational character, proving that anyone can overcome great odds with determination, skill, and the right strategy. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is a testament to the power of innovative game design and memorable characters. It's not just a boxing game, it's a rhythm-based, strategic experience that challenges players to observe, react, and refine their skills to succeed. The game's unique blend of humor, memorable opponents, and satisfying mechanics has given it legendary status in the gaming world. By combining sports action with puzzle solving and character-driven storytelling, Punch-Out carved out a genre of its own. Today, Punch-Out is not only one of the most beloved titles on the NES, but also a game that introduced countless players to the world of boxing and gaming strategy. Its legacy endures, with Little Mac continuing to inspire new generations of players, showing that the underdog can indeed become a champion.